Welcome our hosts for tonight, the Rebellious Rev and the Doc.
Too much silence.
There is no heaven.
Thank you.
There is no hell. There is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Well, I know where I am.
Well, you know, and the reason it took him so long to get started is because, you know, he's up for a new contract.
Oh.
And
okay.
like us, you know, he doesn't like the terms of his old contract.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we could say is he's making exactly what we're making.
Absolutely.
You know.
And
I'm the Doc, by the way. And if you expected it's Friday, you're wrong.
It's Thursday, and I'm the Rebellious Rev.
And we are here because for personal reasons, I will not be able to broadcast tomorrow. My daughter is coming in from Ohio, and I'd like to spend some quality time with her. So,
well, you could call in with her, and she could talk on the phone.
Don't think
How
so.
much better quality could you have than that?
Quality on this show? What, are you kidding me? Since when did quality become our middle name?
Ladies and gentlemen, our number here is 646-595-3275.
Lots to discuss. We have sports. All of the winter sports are well underway. In baseball, you have the Fall Classic. We'll get to that in a little while.
The what classic?
The Fall Classic. That's what they call it. We have the debates to discuss. A lot to discuss there. The usual news. Pre-weekend news. And then, as you know, the Rev gave you our phone number. We wish that you would call in. Have your coffee ready. The weather is changing, although after a day like today, you'd never know it when the temperature hits 70 degrees in New York.
We have our chat rooms open, both on Blog Talk Radio and Spreaker. And
we anxiously await your phone calls. We really do. So give us a call, once again, 646-595-3275.
You know, first thing I want to talk about today, and that we haven't really mentioned it. My wife is home. Did we talk about that?
Yes, we did. When she came home, I was the one that brought it up, and then you said, no, that's right.
Anyway, she's right. You're right. She's home, and it's now been almost 2 weeks.
And just so you know, Thursdays is her day to go into the city for her treatments. They were a little bit late in getting back here today, so if we sound a little bit rushed, it's because the Rev has only been home for about an hour. That's about it.
Yep. But anyway, so she's home, and last week she was supposed to start getting some aides coming in and helping her out a little bit because she is pretty frail. She's weak. You know, she's not ready to be home by herself too much yet. If she'll ever will be, we don't know. But we hope pray she will. But anyway,
that's one of the things that the Republicans would like to cut. You know, all of these, home health aides and everything.
You are speaking a lie. You should listen to them a little more carefully and realize that most of them do not want to end Medicaid or Medicare.
No, I didn't say end it. Okay, one of the speakers yesterday said, I don't know if it was Rubio or Cruz. I know Kasich said this. He said the elderly who have paid into Social Security and Medicare and are looking forward to this when they hit 65, they're entitled to it. They paid into it. But for the young people, they say in order to keep it afloat, they may have to raise the retirement age a little bit or increase the
Contributions.
the contribution to keep things afloat. Okay.
But they've been doing that for years.
Well, but you see, I commented on Facebook. All right, somebody said something about.
How do you keep paying for all the extra monies?
Well, but you see, this is what it is. Originally, Social Security, Medicare, these were separate bank accounts, okay, that people were putting into every paycheck, okay, from back in the 40s when FDR proposed this. But what happened was both administrations, Democrat and Republican, when they have been behind financially, have dipped into the well and taken money out of Social Security and Medicare. And this is why they say that there's no way it could remain afloat, that there won't be any Social Security for the millennials when it comes time for them to retire. And that's why they talk about setting up, telling millennials to set up separate bank accounts for themselves, okay, where the government will give them X number of dollars a year, and then they add to it in the hopes that they will eventually have enough so that when they retire, it takes the place of Social Security or Medicare. And the answer is it ain't ever going to happen, okay? But the reason I'm bringing this up now is because when I did senior activities and collected monies for my junior high school when I was teaching, okay, I remember collecting well over $20,000 from seniors and from businesses. And when it came time toward the end of the year, May, and I'm talking to my principal about the prom and I'm talking about senior expenses, he says, Mark, we don't have that kind of money. I said, well, what do you mean? I collected. I said, the treasurer could show you what I've given her as far as deposits are concerned. He said, oh, but we have personal expenses in the office, not personal, school expenses, contracts for copy machines and the such that have to be paid. So I said to him, so where did you take it from? You took it from this account. This was meant for the seniors. Well, that's exactly what happened with our government.
Well, you're simplifying the problem. Here's the problem. For every person these days now, over their lifespan, let's say they contribute $1 million, which they don't. They get back $1.5 million. That's it.
No, I thought you were going to say something else. I thought, you see, if you had used this argument that I'm going to bring up now, I can almost understand. Back in the 40s, for every retired person, you had 16 people who were working, contributing into this account. So it kept it afloat. There was more than enough money to pay for the people who were retiring. But now you have the baby boomers, people who were born in the early 1940s, just after the end of
World War II.
Okay, they are retiring now. And what you have is you have 3 or 4 young people working for every one person retired. And there are so many retirees now that there's just not enough money to keep it going.
Plus, as I said, each person is spending more than they put in. Reason being that people live longer now and stuff like that. So there's no way, there is absolutely no financial, fiscal way that Social Security or Medicare can sustain themselves. I mean, you can't keep spending more than you bring in.
Well, they can if they raise the percentage that comes out of your salary. Now, usually for the average worker, when it came to November...
but nobody wants to raise taxes.
Well, no, when it came to November, you had already paid your maximum into Social Security. Okay, so it seemed like you got $1,000 increase in December and an extra $500 or so in November for the tail end of the month. Okay, as far as income
Depends
goes.
how much you make a year.
But now you're paying year round because very few people reach that maximum salary. And what they're talking about is even raising it higher. And that's what that's what Bernie is saying and Hillary. You know, if you go to the 0.1%, those people, okay, and you tax them for Social Security, they're hoping that all of the programs that they would like to have, that there would be enough money for it. Okay? You know, and nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. In Europe, community colleges, certain things are a given. People get this stuff.
They pay 70% in taxes.
And they don't all pay 70% in taxes.
Some of them pay 80, 85.
During the Eisenhower years, in the 50s, the tax bracket was as high as almost 90%. You know, for the upper crust, you were paying 90% of your salary to taxes. And even then you had to pay for college. The only thing that was free were the municipal colleges. Okay, community colleges and,
well, you can't have private colleges be free. That doesn't make sense.
But private colleges take government funds.
Mark, the bottom line is you can't spend, and that's the argument of the Republicans. And being a businessman, I agree with them. You can't spend more than you have. Like that other gentleman in the other show is, you're running up your credit card past your max, where you can't pay it off anymore.
But I have news for you. From the time I was a kid, well, maybe no, not from that time, because that's a long time ago. But at least since I've been I was in college, which still was almost 50 years ago. What did I want to say? Just give me a minute. You had, they talk about the debt limit. You know, the monies that we owe, $17 trillion. That's always been passed down from one generation to the next.
Not that kind of money keeps going up like crazy.
You're right, but the point is,
you can't keep putting money on your credit card. You're going to max it out. How can you just keep spending money and not bring in money?
Where are you going to cut? You know, it's very simple. Republicans want to cut social programs and Democrats want to cut military spending. Okay?
Well, I think you start cutting right in the middle. You got so many bureaucracies. I went into a Medicaid office. It's a joke. Nobody knows what they're doing. There's so much waste there.
Well, let me ask you. There may be waste, but where would you be if there wasn't Medicare or Medicaid right now, considering your situation?
I didn't say there's anything wrong with Medicare and Medicaid. I said it's mismanaged. And I think if you gave Medicaid and Medicare and have a private company run it, you'd be more efficient, it'd be more profitable. We can't manage our own. The government cannot manage. And the larger it gets, the worse.
Well, they did for years. I don't know what happened. You know, for many years they did.
As they go, we keep getting larger and larger. And for how many years have you heard about bureaucracy? As long as you can remember.
Yeah. Well, you talk about bureaucracies. How about, you and I were talking about this the other day. The post office. The post office, everybody thinks the post office is part of the government and gets government monies in order to run. The post office is totally self-sufficient. Not only that, they have to pay the government for the right to operate. All right? Because